I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Tuesday.
Guess what today is?
Hump Day! Day, and this feels like a Tuesday, so I think the Camel was in the back room thinking he had another day to go before we needed to break him out. But luckily we got him in there. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Hump Day in the Doghouse. We are still kind of recovering from the week off last week, and we're trying to cover as much ground as possible. A lot of interesting things to get into over the next couple of hours. We're going to hit as many of those that we can to open up the month of June. Can you believe this already? It's June? Can you believe it's June already into 2022? I mean, it's, by the way, happy birthday to my daughter, Kelly, the singer that lives in Huntsville. It's her, I don't even know what is this? What year is this? 2022. She was born, 38. I can't believe Kelly is 38 years old. 38 years old is, I think, how old? Yeah, 38. So if you see Kelly Abraham Joyner anywhere out there or know her, give her a heads up and wish her a happy birthday. Are you not supposed to say a woman's age? Is 38 too old to not? When do you stop saying her? You never say a woman's age. All right. Well, anyway, 38 years ago, my wife was having another baby. 256-576-4977. That'll get you in. You can text the show, 732-9TA show, 732-982-7469. That'll get you in. Great way. Twitter feed is watch it on Twitch and the Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. Our YouTube channel is 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Like and subscribe there to get notifications. Go to 97.7ESPN.com for links to all of that. Apparently, we have an Instagram page as well. I don't even know. I didn't know. Apparently, there's an Don't go to our Instagram page because right now there's nothing on it. On our Instagram. Well, I shouldn't say nothing. There's stuff on it. There's nothing, more current than a month ago on it, which might as well be 10 years ago. You know how it is in this business. But I think we're going to start using that. I don't know why. I don't mean, how many different things do you need? I still don't understand why you need Instagram if you got Twitter. I know that Instagram is better for, like, photos, but why is it better for photos? You see photos all over the Twitter all the time. Is Elon Musk buying Instagram too? Or is he just buying the Twitter? I don't know why. And some people say, well, the younger people use the gram. That's what the hell are you talking about? That's still around? Is Snapchat still a thing? Isn't that the thing you post a picture on the Snapchat and it goes away in like 5 seconds or something? I don't know what it is. I don't even get that. I don't get that. I never had a Snapchat. I mean, there's so many. Now Trump has his thing. Are we supposed to sign up for that too? What is that, Truther or whatever it's called? Something coming down from there that we feel trumps the game. We will go to that because Paul is down there. Now, I got to be honest with you. I thought it was brutal yesterday. Don't do that to me. I don't have that kind of talent.
It's despicable.
Don't be doing that.
It's despicable.
But anyway, if there's this Mr. Despicable, Grasshopper Braves, they blew a game that they built a 6-2 lead in the sixth inning.
2-1 pitch. There's a missile. Deep right, back towards the corner. Damage done by Matt Olson. 3-2 Braves.
Here's the next pitch. Swung on line to left field, base hit. That's going to score at least two. Peralta over to cut it off. Riley's at third. He'll be held there. Heading into second with yet another double. A 2-run double for Matt Olson. He's blown forward. RBI single for Michael Harris. His first big league ribby.
All right. So at this point in time, what's the score?
6-2 Atlanta.
Thank you. So at this point in time, it's the sixth inning. I'm used to watching the Yankee. I watch the Yankee game every night. So when the Yankees are up 6-2 in the sixth inning, it's ball game over. The Yankees win. Yankees win. So I go to bed. I'm done. 6-2. The hockey game is over. I had the hockey game under 7 goals. The final score was 8-6. I had the hockey game.
Ozuna's trying to go to third, and I couldn't believe second. Yeah. Braves are on top, 7-6.
So there you go. Austin Riley doing his thing, and it's the Braves are up. in the 10th inning. No problem. Come on in. Lock her down.
Payoff pitch to Peralta. Here it is. Swung on, line toward left field. That's going to get down for a hit.
Of course
the
it is.
ball's on it. He comes up throwing.
Different to me. It'll be interesting to see where his next gig is. Because let's be real. Ole Miss is not a destination job for Lane Kiffin. It's not. Okay? So it'll be, come to the SIP until I'm gone from the SIP. He also says this is what it is, as opposed to hiding behind all of it and saying whatever that little coach's Bible that we're supposed to follow about what you're supposed to say. Like NIL has nothing to do with players coming to my campus. I'm not going to say those things. Well, how refreshing it is to hear that. Now, is that not a shot at Jimbo Fisher? I'm not going to say those things. Oh, NIL has nothing to do with these people coming to my campus. Link sending me notes, keep me in line, answering the phones, living large like a boss. It's DJ Grizzy.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
That Tom? Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Office at 5 o'clock this morning. You didn't stay up till midnight to watch that mess, did you?
Well, yeah, no, I did. I absolutely hated last night. It was where I think it was. I don't know if it was worse than the night before, when you give up a 2-run shot because Matt Olson doesn't catch the ball at first base.
Yeah.
And then Ozuna, who I said this morning is an absolute liability. I mean, in the outfield. Being a fielder of anything, children, kids, young adults, do not watch Marcell Ozuna and try to catch a pop-up, because he tried to slide for the easiest pop-up I've ever seen in my entire life, and it just gave up this momentum that even when Lovello got thrown out of the game, the Diamondbacks just played a better game than the Braves did, and they were up on them in both games, yesterday and the game before.
And these are important games, because
yes.
These two teams are the only teams that really have a shot. Forget about the Colorado Rockies. These two teams are the only two teams that can break into the wild card. Forget about the division; are 10 games back. But the wild card, if the Braves have these 2 wins, they're 3 games back in the wild card, and now they're 5 games back.
Yeah, and
behind the Diamondbacks.
Right behind the Diamondbacks, and I've looked at the schedule. I mean, it's gonna be there's a favorable front end of this month, and this month is gonna prove what the Braves can do. Try to get within some games of the Mets, especially. This is kind of what we saw last year though with the Braves. Once again, Kenley Jansen blew his third save in his 15th appearance. The Braves are, like I said, the Braves are really missing Matzik. They're really missing Jackson. This is a bullpen that, like last year, was not very good starting off, and hopefully they can get real hot, and hopefully the bats can get real hot. And this is another, Braves team once again that the bats are just not there. And this I saw on social media where they're just ripping Matt Olson for the game before, only been able to make doubles when nobody's on, and the guy picks and chooses when to bat and all this other stuff, and then the guy comes out and has 4 RBIs plus a home run. Yeah, it just makes me so angry just to listen to how the fan base just acts and reacts to so early in the season. But this is a crucial month, and it's going to be especially crucial getting into the All-Star break.
Well, let's talk some baseball with Josh Carey. We'll get a break in here. We'll come back. We'll do a little Carey's Corner with Josh Carey, the Trash Pandas play-by-play man. He's next right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Braves are back, and they're on a mission to defend the East, defend the National League pennant, and defend their world title.
Fly ball hit to deep center field, retreating his fifth. At the track, at the wall, she's gone!
Today, Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies, and your Atlanta Braves gear up for a National League matchup with the Arizona Diamondbacks, live from Chase Field. Braves Radio's on the air at 2:25 Eastern, 1:25 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Law firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever, 3188, or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 80s and lower 90s. Dew points in the low and mid 60s. Going to make it feel a little bit hotter. An isolated shower certainly can't be ruled out across. That'll move through the Tennessee Valley. Some of those thunderstorms could pack a bit of a punch. A little cooler as we head into your Friday. A mostly sunny sky, though. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 70s and lower 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Bring that playoff intensity every day to our shows.
Bring it on, Chop. Let's go.
Okay, maybe just for Drew DeArmond.
Bing. Me.
Listen for Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew. Weekday mornings starting at 7 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Talking baseball. Klazuski, Campanella talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston.
Finance, pull some of that money out of your home for home renovation or college expenses or weddings, whatever it is that you've got going on. They can help you out with that. All right, Carey's Corner is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline with Josh Carey, and he joins us now. Josh, welcome back. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, Tom. Team won yesterday. I got through all the traffic mess, and so we're here in one piece.
You know, speaking of which, this is a weird stat line. The Trash Pandas got out hit last night 8-4 and won the game 5-1. I mean, How the hell does that happen? Explain what happened. I know there was a lot of walks, but tell me how that happened.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. There were 10 walks. There were 10 walks by Chattanooga. I think of the 5 runs that scored, 4 of them came off of walks. And so that was the big thing. There was one run scored on a wild pitch, another one scored on a sac fly. There was a solo home run, an RBI single, and I think there was an RBI ground out that started with a walk. So there was just a bevy of walks, guys moving fellas along and things like that. And it wasn't a pretty win, but it was a win nonetheless. And when you're on the road, that's all you need.
Got a new dude in there as well with Zach Humphreys. He was undrafted, signed as a free agent by the Angels, sent to high A, and here he is at double A all of a sudden. And, what's he hitting? 315, 5 home runs, 13 RBI. He's got 5 stolen bases as well. I mean, this guy has been pretty solid.
Yeah, he's been really good. I've been pleasantly surprised with him. I mean, he's going to split the catching duties right down the middle with Anthony Mulrine, just because, catching is such a chore at AA and you're trying to develop pitchers. But when it comes to his offensive abilities, I mean, it's funny because he's a catcher and he runs so well. The guy is just a great athlete. He played football in high school. He was a high school wrestler as well. So he's a bit of a different animal. And he went to TCU, like you said, and so he's played at a very high collegiate level. The guy is just an all-around gamer. He wasn't highly sought after coming out of college, but he has a good all-around game, and he's got a pretty good throwing arm as well. And if he continues to develop, he's someone who I think could pop up on the Angels' radar just because not only does he do all those things, but he catches a pretty good game.
Who played for the Yankees back in the early 90s for a couple of years, was in and out of there with the Yankees. So, that is so important. You're a son of a broadcaster, a grandson of a broadcaster, a brother of a broadcaster, all of those things give you something to lean on as a broadcaster and to have that kind of store of information. it's got to be the same way for these sons of players. You know, you've got Torrey Hunter Jr. there, and anytime you got a guy that's got that kind of pedigree, the talent, you know what I mean? You can't do much about that, but you know that they are going to they're going to be giving it their all, and they know exactly what it takes to be a big league player.
Yeah, and you look at Preston Palmeiro. He had Rafael in there last week, working with his swing a little bit, and it's just one of those things where guys, they know in between the ears what they have to do and what it takes. And like you said, you might not have the physical God-given ability to be a major leaguer, but you can make it up for all the other stuff and have a quality minor league career and maybe parlay that into a coaching career as well. So, you know, when you see guys like Preston Palmeiro and Torrey Hunter Jr., who might not be posting the biggest numbers in the world, they can always hop on their phone and give dad a call and say, hey, what should I do here? What should I do there? What can I do to make myself better? What can I do to make myself a better teammate? And those guys have all of those answers because they have such a bevy of knowledge that most parents don't have because they haven't played at that level.
Did you see the SEC storied piece, Thunder and Lightning, on Rafael Palmeiro and Jack Clark from
Will Clark?
From Will Clark, Jack Clark. That's how old I am. Will Clark from Will Clark from Mississippi State from back in the day, because Preston was, he was in that as well.
Yeah, I saw it. I actually went on a little bevy of, or what do they call it? Binge watching. I went on a binge watch of SEC story, and it was interesting. I didn't realize just how good that team was because that was just a little before my time as well, but really fascinating piece.
Yeah, I've forgotten about those guys and just how good they were. Of course, up on the big club, they're struggling with their pitching right now. I mean, Noah Syndergaard last night starting against the Yankees, he got knocked around pretty good and finally got taken out, I think 5 runs or so after the third inning, and they had to get him out of there. And it was interesting. They noted during the broadcast that in the last draft, it might have been the one right before this past one, but in the last draft, the Angels, every single draft pick was a pitcher. Every single draft pick was a pitcher, and it just seems to be an issue for this team. It's like the last thing to get them over the hump. They're in a wild card spot right now, and I think we'll get to that in a minute. I think that this is weird. We're a third of the way through the baseball season, and we're pretty much got a pretty good grip now on the playoff teams. But the Angels, this has like been for years, trying to find those pitchers that can give them the depth that they need as well, because they score all the runs in the world. They got the best offense in all of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, well, that draft you're talking about, that was actually last year. And what was so interesting about that draft is because there were so many pitchers, that was one reason why you saw so many guys from Rocket City get called up to the majors. And if you notice, they were all pitchers as well.
Right.
And so the Angels were trying to take a look at all these guys and see, hey, what guys really have what it takes to play Major League Baseball, because the Angels were out of it at this point. And now here you are in the heat of, I won't say the heat of a pennant race, it's still kind of early, but here you are battling for playoff positioning, and pitching is a bit of an issue. The good news for them is they do have pitching depth now in their minor league system. You see it here with Trash Pandas. I guess the question is, how quickly do you want to move guys on up, number one, and number two, which guys do you want to use for trade bait? And so it's going to be another very interesting trade deadline that's coming up in a couple of months. And on top of that, as well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the upcoming draft, which will be coming up in about 6 weeks as well. Do they stick with pitching, or are they going to go after more positional players? We had a chance to talk to Joey Probinski, the director of player development. He really didn't show his hand a whole lot. I don't think they really know right now what they want to do in regards to that. I think they want to wait and see how things unfold at the major league level. But if you haven't noticed one thing yet, Tom, it's the fact that they're struggling against good teams. I mean, they'll beat up on the Oakland A's all day long, but the Blue Jays took it to them, and so did and right now so are the Yankees. They got to figure something out.
There's no doubt about that. In the meantime, Rockets stacking up right now because in the Northern Division, the Trash Pandas with a 2-game lead over the Tennessee will make the playoffs, but there's a pretty good chance that the team that misses the playoffs out of the North could have actually won the Southern Division.
Yeah, and that's just the way things shake up, and that's kind of one of the bummers about our league is it's so small that it just depends on what talent is in each minor league system. And right now, you kind of look throughout these teams. The Angels have some good talent here at AA. The Marlins, where Pensacola is, Pensacola has some really good pitching. Their hitting is so-so. But then you look at the rest of that league right now. Montgomery, they've been besieged with COVID the last couple of weeks. But the Mississippi Braves, they're struggling right now. And then the other team down there, Biloxi, the Brewers, their farm system has been a little up and down of late. So really, that's just the way things have shaken out. You look at the Cubs, which is the Smokies. They're rebuilding their farm system, and they've got some great talent going through there that's going to be getting to Wrigley Field pretty soon. And then you got the Reds. The Reds are terrible at the major league level, but they're also kind of where the Eagles and Cubs are in that they're retooling things as well. We all happen to be in the Northern Division. That's why you got these three teams sort of jockeying for.
I think 7,500 in the building. I mean, that's just so great. It's great for the players. It's great for the other fans. It's just really, really cool, when you see a big crowd like that.
Yeah, first sellout of the season, we were hoping to do it a little sooner, but some weather issues got in the way, but it was great. It was a perfect weekend for great weather. People were excited. People are excited to have trash painted baseball back. They're happy to have summer back as well. Oh, and by the way, the guys played a heck too. So it was just a tremendous weekend. The guys are making a push for the playoff weekend overall of baseball, and we hope to have more of it throughout the summer.
I got to tell you, too, on Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday of last week, I went over to Champy's. I love Champy's, big Champy's fan. Went over to Champy's Chicken and had lunch with Mick Gillespie, the voice of the Smokies. I wasn't cheating on you, Josh. I mean, I wasn't.
I know.
You know what I mean?
He told me about it.
Yeah, we had lunch together. He's a great guy, and it just kind of goes to the talent. I mean, this is a guy that's been mentioned and in and out. Had done some stuff with the Cubs, of course, and it could be up for jobs that come open in big league ball as well. And it just goes to show just the talent that we have on the mics, around the Southern League as well. I mean, there's some guys like yourself and Mick, pretty good guys that are and it just shows how tough it is. There's only 30 of those big league jobs, so it's pretty tough to get one of those. Pretty tough to get a job at AAA or at AA.
Yeah, a guy like Mick, he's been there forever. Larry Ward, who I got to see last night, he's a Southern League Hall of Famer. He's been here in Chattanooga for 30-plus years. Kurt Bloom over in Birmingham. I think you know Kurt a little bit.
I know Kurt, yeah.
He's been down there. He's been down there for over 30 years. I'm the baby of the division, believe it or not. And then in the Southern Division, we had a guy from Pensacola, Chris Garagiola, who got sent up to Arizona just last year. And so, the talent is rich in the minor league level. But like you said, there are so many guys who want to be major league broadcasters, and it just kind of depends on the market. And if you're in LA or New York, they're probably going to want to hire in the city as opposed to dipping down to the minor league level because those are major premier markets. Whereas in places like Kansas City and Pittsburgh and Milwaukee and, places like that, they may be a little more flexible wanting to dip into the minors and use guys like that. So, you just do the best you can. You continue to send your tape out. You continue to make connections and you see what you can do. But I'm very blessed to be around all these guys because they always are giving pointers and they're always giving ideas. I'm always learning something from them.
It's going to be really interesting. That Yankee job's got to open up. I mean, it's got to open up. I mean, as much as, I love Stiller and Mira doing the games because it's funny. But it's got to end at some particular point in time. John Sterling, as great as he has been over his career and a storied career that'll be, I mean, I think John is 83 years old, 82 or 83 years old. And I think Susan Walden is 77, 76. And, it's like Grandma and Grandpa doing a game. That job's going to open up, and man, that's going to be a free-for-all. It's going to be very interesting to see the names that pop up for that job potentially. Yeah,
and it'll be a sad day when that happens, but it's one of those things that you just get the feeling it just has to happen because you have to follow the game along, and if you're not able to do it, you're not doing your listener a service. And so I hope they're able to do it with grace, however that's done for John. But it's tough right now. But whoever does get that job, and that's a perfect example. I mean, that's going to be a job where I see them, staying up there, plucking someone who's already in the New York market, just because that's the job. I mean, out of 30 jobs in Major League Baseball, that's the job to have. So that'll be a big one. And we'll see what happens. I got a couple of ideas of who it may be, but it's going to be a rough and tumble off season when that happens.
We could scratch 2 people off the list, you and me. All right, so we're probably not on the list for that one, but we'll see. I'll grab one of the ESPN guys or something, and it'll be somebody young enough that could do the job for 20 or 30 years, because I think that is a big part of it. You mentioned that even in the Southern League, and everybody wants to move up, obviously, but it's like that in the SEC as well. I mean, you get a job in the SEC as a voice, you're there. I remember when Eli was at 24, 25 years, he was like in the middle of the pack. In the SEC, and he had already had 25 years, and now he's more near the top of the list in terms of how long he has been there. But, man, oh, man, it's just absolutely crazy. Josh Carey with us here. All right, Josh, before I let you go, speaking of painful stuff, the Braves, brutal loss last 2 nights. I mean, this is a National League right now that looks like here we are at the 1/3 pole. And we've got the Mets, Brewers, and Dodgers leading their divisions with the Cardinals, Padres, and Giants in the wild card spots. And then there's a decent gap. The D-backs now 3.5 back after their win last night. Braves 5 back. That's pretty much it, And it almost feels like this playoff field is fairly set. The Braves are only 2 games behind their pace from last year, but let's be honest, that was bizarre what happened last year, and they got to start winning games like that game last night.
Yeah, they do. And, the thing we forget about last year is that everything fell into place, right? Like the Mets started to stink, and then the Braves went out and got people, and all those guys they got wound up doing a great job. You can't rely on that happening again. And the problem with it is it looks like they're trying to rely on that happening again, and it's just not going to happen. I mean, at some point you have to make a move here. And you can say as much as you want to, well, it's still early. It's only May. We've just gotten into June. You got to pretty much put the pedal to the metal. Now, I'm not saying you got to win the division. I don't know if that's going to be possible because Mets have built such a big lead. But you got to start making a move there and staying at least within striking distance of that wild card. Because if you don't, you're going to look up. It's going to be the trade deadline, and it's going to be too late because the crowd will get so packed. You won't be able to make any movement at all. The Cardinals look very solid. I love what's happening in the NL West, though. I mean, I think the Padres and the Giants are both going to be locks for the postseason. If there's a team I see maybe faltering, it could be the Cardinals just because they're older. But that's a big if, and that's a lot to ask for. So they got to turn it on, and they got to turn it on quick because it ain't looking good right now.
And, of course, everybody wants to jump on Matt Olson. And the biggest problem with Matt Olson is that he's not Freddie Freeman. He comes up huge last night. The night before, not so much. But here's the reality. Again, we're 2 months in now. And 2 months in, Matt Olson right now, he's hitting .263 with 6 homers and 21 RBI. He has 49 hits. He has the same number of at-bats as does Freddie Freeman. Freddie has 9 more hits, but he's hit 4 home runs. Freddie's average is .303, and he has 29 RBI. The numbers are very similar. Freddie with a little better average. Olson with more home runs, but Freddie with a much better overall lineup all around him. But the biggest stat, the most important stat in all of that people have to remember is 5, and that's the difference in years. Matt Olson is 5 years younger than Freddie Freeman. And, this was a long-haul move, I really believe. And, but we obviously everybody's going to look at Freddie and Matt and compare their numbers throughout the year.
Yeah, they are, especially in year one, because fans who don't know any better are going to say, well, how could you let Freddie go? Look at what he's doing compared to Matt. Well, it's not that simple because we don't know where we're going to be in 2 to 3 years. Right. And like you just mentioned as well, the Dodgers have a far better lineup pound for pound. So if I'm Freddie Freeman and I have all that protection around me, sure, I'm going to see better pitches to hit than Matt Olson is. And so fans are just going to have to be patient with him and understand that, he's not in as great of a situation as Freddie is. And right now the team is struggling. So that makes the emphasis on his numbers all the more glaring. So it's a tough spot to be in right now. But all you can do if you're Matt Olson is turn off Twitter, turn off the TV, sadly, turn off the radio, and just figure out a way to put all of this together. They can make another chase here, but they got to do it quickly because time is starting to run short already.
Starting with this afternoon's game. All right, well, as always, I appreciate you. Josh Carey has been our guest for Carey's Corner. Josh, have a great call today. Keep things going over there. Chattanooga's a nice little town. Enjoy Chattanooga.
Love that city. It's outstanding. Downtown is one of the best.
Yep. Nice ballpark as well, right downtown. All right, man, appreciate you.
All right, be good.
It's really good. You ever been to a game, Grizz, in Chattanooga?
No, actually not. I'm planning on doing that one year.
Put that on your list, yeah. I'd like to make the rounds one year. I'd like to just go to all the Southern League, venues. It'd be just kind of neat to kind of go around,
definitely.
All the Southern League. I've been to regions, and it'd be neat to kind of make the rounds and
especially
hit all
Pensacola.
Yeah, Pensacola.
Nice
They got a beautiful stadium.
Yeah.
The Smokies up there, a beautiful setting up there as well, outside in Kodiak, Tennessee, outside of Knoxville. All right, let's get a break in here. When we come back, we'll set you up for hour number 2 next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 80s and lower 90s. Dew points in the low and mid 60s. Going to make it feel a little bit hotter. An isolated shower certainly can't be ruled out across the Tennessee Valley. Most of us probably going to end up staying dry. Better opportunity for showers and thunderstorms as we head into your Thursday afternoon, all thanks to a cold front that'll move through the Tennessee Valley. Some of those thunderstorms could pack a bit of a punch. A little cooler as we head into your Friday. A mostly sunny sky, though. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 70s and lower 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Local sports is covered right here.
Well, appreciate what you guys do for sports, but also for high school sports and taking time to talk to us. That means a lot, and appreciate what you guys do and appreciate you having us on.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
segment of the show is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. For all your equipment rental needs, it's Valley Equipment Rental. It's June, for God's sakes. Is this not the month to get things done? I mean, these next 8 weeks, this is when you want to be knocking this stuff out, man. You want to get all of this stuff done. This next 8, 10, 12 weeks, this is project time. And you need Valley Equipment Rental to get your project done like a pro, okay? And if you're a pro, I know you got a lot of work going out there, and you need a compressor, you need an excavator, you need a big excavator. Oh, Valley Equipment, they got those mini excavators. Oh, no. Check out Valley Equipment's north location. They've got big excavators up there. They got dozers over there. Are you kidding me? They got skid steers more than anybody else in the entire area. They got more lifts, excavator. They got everything. And, of course, all the smaller stuff, the hard-to-find stuff, the stuff that you don't have in your fleet of stuff. They've got it at Valley Equipment Rental. Ross Roberts, his crew, all local guys, taking care of you right here in town. Check them out. Valley Equipment Rental, 2 locations, north and south. And look them up online as well. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, Connor O'Gara will join us from Saturday Down South on the first day and a half or so of what is going on down in Destin as the meetings are taking place down there. Greg Sankey said very clearly that there could be votes on a new schedule formation and league alignment by the end of the week. There's no way the divisions are going to survive, right? I mean, there's no way. He says they could have this worked out. There could be a vote coming up by the end of the week, which means by the time we get to SEC Media Days, that'll be one of the big-time talking points. And I don't think anything would happen before Oklahoma and Texas get in. The question I got is, remember when it was announced, there was talk like, you know what, they might get this done before the season starts. And then it was like, they'll negotiate the early release, and Texas and Oklahoma will be in the SEC for sure in 2023. Now it seems like it's really going to be all the way to 2025. They're under those contracts and so on with the Big 12. It feels like Texas and Oklahoma aren't going anywhere for at least a couple of more years. It feels like that. We'll see. Who knows, what the summer will bring. But one thing that no one is talking about is the SEC bolting, like the NCAA and going off on their own. I don't think that's in play. I think that's something that fans talk about and we in the media like to talk about just to kind of talk about it and imagine what it would be like for the SEC to break away and have its own playoff and everything else. I don't think we're anywhere near anything like that happening. I don't believe that'll be the case. All right, coming up, Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South, SEC football talk, and you'll love what Stephen A. had to say about Nick Saban this morning on his show. It's all going to be right here in hour number 2 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Did you know that your car, truck, or SUV may be worth over 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we'd love your trade-in for a personalized custom factory order on a 2022 Explorer, Expedition, Ranger, or F1.
We interrupt this message to announce our $1,000 appreciation cash reward. Attention all active military, reservists, retirees, and all veterans, plus first responders, police, fire department, EMTs, and medical professionals. An appreciation for making Huntsville the great city it is. You'll receive a $1,000 exclusive reward in addition to any public offers on most all 22 Fords. So please come see us today.
Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. At Woody Anderson Ford, whether it's a new order or a pre-owned, we promise to always do the right thing. corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
And now faces allegations from another woman accusing him of inappropriate sexual conduct. That brings the total to 23 civil lawsuits against Watson. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Playoffs East Final tonight in New York. The Rangers hosting the Tampa Bay Lightning. Martin St. Louis is now officially the head coach of the Montreal Canadiens. He's been the interim for the last 4 months after Dominique Ducharme was fired. In the French Open quarterfinals today, world number 1 Iga Swiatek beats American Jessica Pegula in straight sets. For Swiatek, her 33rd match win in a row.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. With no credit card required, visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
The NBA Finals beginning on Thursday night in San Francisco. Golden State hosting the Boston Celtics. The Warriors are a 3.5-point favorite at home. Center is 211.5. Steph Curry, the favorite to win the Finals MVP at plus 105. Boston's Jason Tatum is at plus 180. Jaylen Brown of the Celtics plus 1,000. The Warriors are looking for their 4th world championship in the past 8 seasons. Boston looking for their 18th in their franchise history. For vsin.com, I'm Tony Desiri, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo.
I want that money!
You know, 97.7 ESPN.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fire.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog!
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show here on a hump day in a doghouse. Glad that you are with us today. This segment of the show is brought to you by TOC, the Orthopedic Center. It's more than just TOC Sports. No matter how you got injured, whether it was at work or at play, or if you got an athlete in the family that got hurt, it's TOC. They got specialists for every part of the body. I mean, they really do, and they do a tremendous job taking care of it as well. It's TOC Sports. Joining us now on a Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, this is one of my favorite guests that we ever have on the show, and he does a tremendous job. When we want to talk about the SEC in its entirety, we can talk to Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South.
You know, I got to say, I don't think I've ever told you this, but the fact that we have an intro wherein my guy Joe Moorhead is highlighted, to me, that just makes my time that much better every single time I come on the show.
There's not a lot of Joe Moorhead sightings anymore around the SEC, that's for sure.
Whoa. Let's pump the brakes. My guy Joe is going to have things turned around at Akron in the next 2 to 3 years. Give him some time. He's an offensive guru. He's just going to need – there's Joe Moorhead just doing his thing.
The Akron Zips. Here's my Akron Zips story. In 1993 or 94 – I'd have to check the dates. When Jerry Faust was the head coach there, I actually interviewed with Jerry Faust for a special teams coordinator job with the Akron Zips, and got a very nice letter from Jerry as well. I'm not sure if it's all I know about the Akron. You're not an Akron alum or anything, are you?
No. I'm an Indiana alum. But question for you: were you like a finalist? Did you have maybe 3 other people who were at that stage of the job, or was this more of like a, hey, I'm just going to kind of throw this out there and see if they'll have a conversation with me?
No, I interviewed there. I was, interviewed with him directly, and I was on the short list. Didn't get it, but I was on the short list, and he had some really nice things to say. I had shared some stuff. When you interview for something like that, you generally get in front of the whiteboard, and they want to see you. This is how you do your. I was a spread punt guy. This is how you do your punt. This is how you do your kickoff return package and things like that. So I had a X and O on the board, and Jerry had some very nice things to say about all of that, and I didn't get the job. So there you go.
Too bad. Too bad, man. Who knows? Would you still be doing this had you gotten that job? I think I've talked Joe into being a 2-point conversion guy on action. So I don't know. Like, people are going to notice him this year. Just wait for it.
Well, here's how much things have changed dollar-wise. And this is when I retired in 97. I was 36 years old when I retired. I was offered the special teams coordinator job at Western Kentucky when Jack Harbaugh was the head coach there, and they were Division II. It was right after they won the national championship with what was his name? The quarterback that ended up the head coach at Florida State. That did Willie Taggart. Willie Taggart was their quarterback at the time, and he had won a national championship. And my best friend in coaching was their defensive coordinator. He says, we need a special teams coordinator. And they offered me $36,000 in a car. And this was in the mid to late 90s. And I turned to my wife at that time and I said, honey, we are busting my hump for a job that I cannot afford to take. I just can't take a 1AA job to get to Division I. And that was in the day where position coaches were making, at group of 5 schools, position coaches were making $70,000 or $80,000 a year. Here now, just 25 years later, assistant coaches in college football, position coaches are $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. It's crazy, but it really wasn't that way as recently as the 90s.
You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, man. You should have been born, 15, 20 years later probably, and then I think you would have been having a different life. But I know you're happy to be doing what you're doing, and you wouldn't trade anything for the world.
I got to be honest with you. I went right to the booth and did TV games for Patriot League and Ivy League at age 37, and I couldn't believe I was getting paid. And when I left the booth, I didn't care who won or lost. There was no pain, no emotional strain, no breaking down the next game, that night, none of that stuff. And I was getting a check. So to be honest with you, it worked out exactly the way it should have worked out. So that's good stuff. Connor O'Gara with us here. Speaking of coaches, how fascinating is it to see Lane Kiffin go to a podium and talk about how, some coaches are different in front of the camera when they're alone than they are when they're in a room. And it's like Lane Kiffin now, the voice of reason, talking about coaches who grandstand, I guess, a little bit. It really is a different Lane Kiffin. It seems like he can never live down those great jobs he had when he was in his 30s, where he ultimately flamed out with the Raiders and the Vols and USC. But 47-year-old Lane Kiffin is definitely a different guy.
He is. And, one thing that I'll always say about Lane that blows me away is he never takes an L, ever. I mean, it's unbelievable. Even Saban, for the way this is played out with Jimbo, I think Saban has taken an L. I think he's taken a little bit of an L, and because of the fact that he didn't necessarily have this definitive proof, not only with the Jimbo Fisher stuff, but with Travis Hunter at Jackson State. I think that people kind of look back now, 2 weeks removed from this, the way that Saban kind of went blindly at A&M. And even if there's obviously like kernels of truth to that, he doesn't have definitive proof that every single person in that class was bought entirely by A&M. Like, I think Saban took an L. I think Jimbo has taken L's. I think he absolutely has in his career. And I think that what Kiffin has done so unbelievably well is have this self-awareness to know when he can poke. And it's this lighthearted ability that he has as somebody who respects Saban, he respects Jimbo, and I think he just respects the conference in general to know that, look, these guys are competing at a different level than he is right now. And he understands that his competition, he wants to be in that category. But I also think that he's kind of one of these guys that's sitting there with, pardon the pun, but he's got his popcorn ready, and he's watching these guys go back and forth and enjoying every minute of it.
Well, he also said this is what it is, as opposed to hiding behind all of it and saying whatever the little coach's Bible that we're supposed to follow about what you're supposed to say, like NIL has nothing to do with why players come on my campus. I'm not going to say those things, close quote. That's a very refreshing take. I mean, just flat out saying it. Now, there's also a backhanded slap, I think, there at Jimbo. But for him to say that, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that NIL has nothing to do with it. This guy is refreshingly honest still. He's maintained that while becoming more mature, I think. And I honestly believe that look, Ole Miss isn't a destination job for him. I honestly believe that he's going to get one more shot at one of the big jobs. And that big job may be the one that he really wants, I think, down in Tuscaloosa. But a lot of Alabama fans says hell no to the hell no. But I don't know that I feel like a 48, 49, and 50-year-old Lane Kiffin who can win football games isn't going to be a great choice for somebody down the road.
Yeah, I agree. And look, I was one of these people who, in December, when those Miami rumors started to come out, saying, look, why would Lane leave Ole Miss for Miami? Mm-hmm. Don't you think that at this stage of his career, he doesn't need to take on a job like that? There are bigger, better opportunities available right now than Miami. And I think Mario Cristobal was a great hire, and I totally understand his connection, obviously, to that university, having gone there, having been a part of that generation and understanding kind of the history involved. I think it made a lot of sense. But I'm not one of these people that is penciling Lane in for the next job right now. I think he wants to stay at Ole Miss for a little bit. I don't necessarily think that the first time he gets a big opportunity, he's going to be ready to just bolt, because that's what he's been trying to escape for the past decade in the mistakes that he's made. But I tip my cap to the guy for his ability to kind of build himself back up there. I trust Lane to be able to figure things out. And I know all that they lost from the offensive standpoint. And like Lane's kind of looking around and he's the Fresh Prince gif where he's in the living room and it's just empty. I mean, that's kind of the way that it's played out, losing his offensive and defensive coordinator. That's the thing that we kind of forget about Ole Miss this year. And Lane is just the common denominator. And in my opinion, Ole Miss is set up really well, not only this year, but moving forward. And I think that Lane's going to be there for a little bit longer than what probably the average fan would think.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. Connor O'Gara with us from Saturday Down South. The one intriguing thing is that, who's sitting on the hottest seat in the SEC? I mean, it's Brian Harsin, right? I mean, it's got to be the hottest seat in the SEC. He basically got fired over the winter and kept the job somehow. So, you wonder about, okay, what if it doesn't get any better there? What if it's 6-5, 6-6 with a bowl loss, 6-7, something like that, and they pull the trigger on him, and that job opens up? Do they try to jump the gun and go after a Lane Kiffin? And would Lane Kiffin look at that job as being a step up more than a lateral type move from what he's building right now at Ole Miss?
They got the new facility at Auburn, so I know that's going to be an impact on if they have to make a new hire. I don't think that'd be a job that Lane would touch. I really don't. I know that was kind of thrown out there last time after the 2020 season. That was kind of an early rumor, like would Lane entertain that? That never really materialized. And I look at this situation now with Brian Harsin. I think two things can be true at the same time. One is that he's absolutely on the hot seat. And if he doesn't think that, then I think he's got his blinders on. I don't think any amount of standing ovations at an Auburn basketball games and official statements from the university can make you think that he is not on the hot seat. But at the same time, I think he's handled this really well. I think he's done a lot of things in the public eye that have really sort of helped him kind of get the public sentiment back on his side of being willing to put himself out there and have these public appearances, be more active on social media. He just launched the new podcast, which was at number 1 on iTunes at one point. The algorithm's a little bit wonky in terms of the new subscribers, so that's a different discussion for a different time. But I like the steps that he's taken to become a more personable coach. Because if you think back to when he was, rumors were going on behind closed doors, one of the things that did come out was, look, there are players that, especially in this era, to not have a one-way street with the transfer portal. So I do have a lot of questions about Harsin moving forward, mainly how's he going to handle this quarterback situation. I would probably still say that this quarterback situation is not going to be good enough to save his job this year. If I were betting, I would guess that Brian Harsin is gone at the end of year 2. But I do think that he's done a lot of things really well that I don't think he was fully aware of just the impact of those actions in year one.
Speaking of podcasts, Conor O'Gara, you can find him at the SDS Pod. That's Saturday Down South. So at the SDS Pod and that podcast, he does a tremendous job at Saturday Down South as well with the stories that he writes down there. To what they're trying to accomplish down there in Destin, Greg Sankey did say that there could be votes on a new schedule formation and a league alignment by the end of this week. Obviously, a lot of this is tied to when Texas and Oklahoma come in. Last year, when that bombshell happened during SEC Media Days, thank God for that, when that happened during SEC Media Days, the first reaction was a lot of people were like, you know what, they might figure out a way to get this done this year. I mean, they might schedule them in this year. And then it became, no, that's not going to happen this year, but they're probably coming in earlier than the projected date. They'll buy out their way out of the Big 12, and they'll be in by 2023, maybe 2024. Is the thought process now that it's going to be it's going to be all the way till 2025, or do you think the next bombshell will be 2023 season, Texas and Oklahoma will enter the SEC?
No, I think it's going to be 2025. And this was something that I was talking about with Brett McMurphy a few weeks ago. And one of the things to remember is that there are a lot of moving pieces with this. We saw Houston, UCF, and Cincinnati have that, as McMurphy reported, between $17 to $20 million. That buyout was going to be per school to be able to join the Big 12 a year early. And also remember that BYU is going to be joining the conference in 2023. That buyout number for Texas and Oklahoma would be in the 9-figure department for each of them.
Wow.
There's not that sense of urgency for the SEC, because think about it from this standpoint. That deal is done. They're coming to the SEC no matter what in 2025 at the latest. Expansion of the playoff is not happening, at least not yet. It's not imminent. If you're the SEC, what motivation do you have to have this crazy buyout paid to bring in those two teams to have this 16-team conference that has a 4-team playoff? That sense of urgency doesn't really line up. It doesn't really make sense. So instead, you can have maybe a year in which you'd have that. I don't think expansion is guaranteed in 2026. But, I think the SEC is sort of protecting and saying, well, that deal's done. We don't necessarily need them to come. We're doing just fine without them. They're still going to have, obviously, a chance to win a national championship, to have perhaps 2 teams in the playoff every single year with a 4-team model. So I think that has impacted this, and I think that's why this isn't going to ultimately happen until 2025, and we're going to have some awkward Big 12 championship trophy ceremonies wherein Oklahoma is going to be given that Big 12 trophy, knowing that they're going to be out the door real soon.
Will the SEC, if they vote on a realignment or a changing of the scheduling, going to hopefully 9-game schedule within the conference, would all of that be tied to 2025, do you think? Or do you think that they could do away with divisions as soon as next year and have a new scheduling model as soon as next year, which the one I prefer is the 3-6 model, the 3 regular opponents and 6 on a rotating basis within a 14-team SEC. Do you think any of that could go into effect before Oklahoma and Texas get there?
No, I think it'll be all when Oklahoma and Texas come. I think that's the plan. And I see the merits of the 3-6. I absolutely do. I don't think it's a slam dunk at all. I've been more in favor of the 1-7. And I'll say it for this reason. The SEC has always been so aware of it creating its best possible path to the playoff. When the Big Ten decided to expand the conference schedule from 8 to 9 games in 2016, the Big Ten, they got that great TV package. The Big Ten also had their conference champ get left out of the college football playoff in 3 consecutive years. Meanwhile, the SEC champion has played for a national championship in 15 of the last 16 years. The SEC has always been at the forefront of knowing the best possible path to the playoff. I don't think we fully process just how different it is to have that 8-game conference schedule versus the 9-game conference schedule. We're talking about the college football playoff appearance percentage for teams in the Power 5 that have had the 8-game conference schedule, 94%. ACC this past year was the first time in which a team with a Power 5 conference with an 8-game schedule got left out of the playoff. All right. Meanwhile, it's less than 50%. for the Power 5 conferences with a 9-game conference schedule. That's significant. How about the semifinal record for those 8-game conference schedule Power 5 conferences? 13-4. For the 9-game conference schedule Power 5 conferences, 1-8. All 7 of those national championships were excluding 2020 because they had the weird atypical COVID season with the conference schedule format. All 7 of those available national championships went to Power 5 conferences who had the 8-game conference schedule. That's what we're talking about here, and nobody's really factoring that in. And everybody keeps saying, well, 360 is going to be better for TV. They're going to be better for TV. You got to think about your competition level. You got to think about what's your best possible path to the playoff and not cannibalizing. Now, if the SEC is the last conference left that has the 8-game conference schedule, and if the ACC switches to a 9-game, that's a little bit different for me. That kind of changes the discussion. But I think you have to consider all of these things if you're Greg Sankey, and it's not as simple as, oh, well, do we want to play Alabama and LSU every single year? I think you need to factor in more things besides just the second and third rivalries that these teams have in order to play that 3-6.
But it seemed to be – I mean, it's not like the league is made up of 14 heavyweights. We know that it's much deeper league than anybody else. But it would seem to be having another cupcake win. I don't like the 3 cupcakes and the one decent non-conference game. At least I'd want to see 2 Power 5 games and 2 cupcakes JV games. But how does that make it any better than a tight win against a good team out of the SEC?
Tom, look at the future non-conference schedules that the SEC teams have set up. They're going to already be playing. Yeah, they're loaded. I mean, even Florida is getting out of the state of Florida and playing non-conference games. Alabama is starting to play home and homes and not just neutral site games. That's starting this year with going to Texas, obviously. The trend in the 2020s with the SEC expecting expansion was that they have already loaded up these non-conference schedules. So they have these quality games on their schedule. Those aren't lacking. It's not like they're going to have the same exact format that they had in the 2010s. So if you're looking at it from that standpoint, you're like, all right, well, we could stay at an 8-game conference schedule and still have all of these contenders playing 2 legitimate Power 5 teams in non-conference play, then you sort of satisfy that. And to me, that's what needs to be remembered as we talk about what's going to be the best possible cable package that the SEC is going to continue to try and sell.
Yeah, I think it would be even a harder sell with 16 teams. And when you get 16 teams only having 8 conference games, I think they really want to get away from this concept of a team not playing another team for 12. The whole Georgia Texas A&M argument. 12 years they played once.
It's a 1-7. You get away from that. You play all of them within a 4-year stretch.
Yeah, that's true. That would be true. And I think a lot of these schedules were made with the idea that there will be playoff expansion, and a lot of those are still down the road. But you wonder whether or not it would have been a different mindset if they didn't. If they knew for a fact that they were going to be a 14 playoff, for another 3 or 4 years yet.
Yeah, that's 100% true, and I think that's why they've taken this stance, and that's why you've seen. I think you've seen Greg Sankey respond pretty strongly. If you go back to January when they had those meetings with the Power 5 commissioners before the national championship, and Greg Sankey was pretty candid afterwards, saying, like, I don't think the Alliance took me seriously when I said we don't need expansion. I said we would do this for the good of the sport, but I'm sitting here at the national championship watching 2 of our teams play, and we're not the ones who need this. They can sit here with all of their prerequisites, with their automatic qualifiers for Power 5 champs, and pretend with these silly little prerequisites with the Rose Bowl and all of those things, with the time slot, New Year's Day, all those different things. But about it, I don't want
the same thing. It's like, look, I'm not pushing for it. They want it. They want expansion. We don't need expansion. We're going to get 1 or 2 teams in every year. We really don't need – that doesn't benefit us to have expanded, a playoff, and that everybody thought was going to be rubber stamped in September. Finally,
NCAA and having a new enforcement agency that's ultimately funded by this new college football playoff contract.
It's almost requiring of a union. It really is. It's almost requiring of a union for the players and a negotiated deal between the schools and the players' union, if you will, some sort of something that everybody agrees to that said, look, he's
Then the first over the place.
Right.
Think about, like, if you were a lottery pick in the NBA draft as an 18 or 19-year-old kid, and you were all of a sudden given a bank account and handed all this money, and what would you do with it? Now, I think that we're going to see definitely some market correction.
Hey, those wides, and there almost has to be that in football. It's not basketball. It's football where you need all of these guys, and it really would kind of suck for the left guard to be making $30,000 in free food certificates while the quarterback's making $4 million that he's protecting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that'll be a constant topic of discussion. And look, like lost in the shuffle of Nick Saban's 7-minute answer, wherein he called out Texas A&M and he called out Jackson State, was him basically saying, like, I don't want to manage my roster this way. That's a really difficult thing to have to deal with. And this was something I talked about last night. We did a Spaces with Aaron Murray, my colleague Chris Marler, and then somebody who works in Georgia's collective. And one of the things we talked about was like, man, like what's going to be the situation like if boosters are like impacting head coaches saying, I paid X amount of dollars for this kid and he's on your roster and you better start playing him. I'm like, that's different than hearing about an unhappy parent who thinks their kid should be starting. Right. There's financial stake, and you don't want, if you're a head coach, you don't want to have to ever think about that possibility. Even if you want to just all gets more and more difficult when you've got so many of these things involved.
It's like we just did an entire podcast with Conor O'Gara. He went to see in July. In July in Atlanta. That's Conor O'Gara. Good stuff there. All right, let's get a break. I think we just set an issue or a record. I think we just set a record with the longest interview ever. I don't know. React, an even playing field, if you will, next, right here, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves are in Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks tonight. Kyle Wright gets the start for the Braves. Madison Bumgarner for the Diamondbacks. Atlanta minus a run and a half, plus 100 on the run line, while the D-backs are minus 120. On the money line, Atlanta minus 158, Arizona plus 134 with the over-under set at 9. PGA Tour, Thursday is the start of the Memorial. That is Jack Nicklaus's tournament in Dublin, Ohio. John Rahm is the favorite at plus 1,000. Rory McIlroy plus 1,100. Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay at both 1,700. For vsin.com, I'm Tony Desiri, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The best place to get 50s diner-style homemade delectables is Bubby's Diner. Located at 8412 Whitesburg Drive Southeast, try their all-new expanded breakfast menu with homemade waffles, omelets, and shrimp and grits. With 3 generations of experience, Chris Bubby Belcher has the best burgers in town. Don't forget to leave without a homemade pie or a hand-spun milkshake. Give Bubby's a call today at 256-513-8080. Bubby's Diner, home of the donut burger.
Did you know that your car, truck, or SUV may be worth over 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we'd love your trade-in for a personalized custom factory order on a 2022 Explorer, Expedition, Ranger, or F1.
We interrupt this message to announce our $1,000 appreciation cash reward. Attention all active military, reservists, retirees, and all veterans, plus first responders, police, fire department, EMTs, and medical professionals. In appreciation for making Huntsville the great city it is, you'll receive a $1,000 exclusive reward in addition to any public offers on most all 22 Fords. So please come see us today.
Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. At Woody Anderson Ford, whether it's a new order or a pre-owned, we promise to always do the right thing. Corner of Jordan and Sparkman, hope to see you soon.
Outdoor season is coming. Can't wait.
Here at Brooks & Collier, neither can we. Outdoor season is also grilling season.
And we have plenty of grills and smokers in stock from Traeger, Blaze, and Big Green Egg.
There's the greenhouse, new indoor items and home furnishings as well.
Whatever it takes. Browse over 2 acres of furnishings. Can't wait.
How about you? North Alabama's indoor and outdoor living headquarters for over 75 years.
813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
New message. Hey, girlfriend, it's Carol from jury duty. We never actually spoke, but I saw you ordered the same hoagie as me at lunch. What are the chances? Anywho, I heard you just got a boat. We should totally grab some hoagies and take it out for a spin.
When you get a boat, you also get new friends. Make sure Progressive's one of them and get coverage today for as little as $100 a year.
Do I want to feel the wind in my hair? Guilty as charged. Oh, seriously, let's ride on your boat.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
The Braves are back, and they're on a mission to defend the East, defend the National League pennant, and defend their world title.
Fly ball hit to deep center field, retreating his fifth. At the track, at the wall, she's gone!
Today, Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies, and your Atlanta Braves gear up for a National League matchup with the Arizona Diamondbacks, live from Chase Field. Braves radio's on the air at 2:25 Eastern, 1:20 on the Braves Radio Network.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. My mouth was watering hearing Grizz in that commercial talking about Bubby's Diner. We'll be out there on Friday. That's right. On Friday, you get your opportunity to pick up Bubby's Diner on our Zone Deals, a radio rewards program, and you can get $50 worth of Bubby's Diner for just $25 and on Friday. So make sure that you're ready to go on that one. And in the meantime, I will be there from 10 until – well, wait a minute. I will be there from 9 until noon. I'll be on the air from 10 until noon. But I'll be eating – I gotta try some of the breakfast stuff. What time are they doing breakfast all day, or does breakfast end at 9 or 10? What do you know about the breakfast deal?
I think it ends at 11.
11?
It's either 10:30 or 11.
So if I get there at 9:15, I can have breakfast?
Yeah.
You know, maybe I can mix breakfast with lunch. Don't they have a burger that's got an egg on it or something like that there?
Yeah, 11 a.m. breakfast, till breakfast.
So I can have breakfast till 11. So I got to try one of the breakfasts. Those are phenomenal.
He's actually going to add quite a few things. So there's some more stuff to come.
I bet they have this is what I want, okay? This would be the Big Dog Waffle.
I had the list somewhere. I couldn't put it all on the commercial.
You know, Bubby said he was going to name one of the burgers after me because I was calling it something.
He said in the new menu, he reminded me to tell you this. I guess I'll tell you right now on the air. He reminded me to tell you that there's going to be something about the Kimmy's Bacon Jam Burger in the new menu. When you read it, the description it describes you, I believe, or has mention of you. Yeah.
I think I was calling it the
bacon gravy burger.
Bacon
jam burger.
Bacon jam burger to bacon gravy burger, which is my favorite burger there. Right. What I'm thinking is this: give me a waffle with the bacon jam on the waffle.
Not bad.
You follow me?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then the syrup. You know what I mean? So I want the waffle with the bacon jam drizzled all over the waffle. They're probably already doing that. Because, I mean, those are two. With an egg. That's what I was just going to say. This is what I want. Bubby! Is he listening? You think Bubby's listening? Chris!
Oh, without a doubt.
All right, Bubby, this is what I want, okay? I want a waffle with egg over hard, okay? So the egg is over. My mouth is watering. I can't even say it. I want a waffle with an egg over hard with the bacon jam on top of the egg, and then I need to have the sugar-free syrup because I'm.
Yeah. We don't need to have any
waffly egg and
we don't even
the
have
waffly egg and the
here.
bacon are one thing, but I need the sugar-free syrup. Okay. Do you know what I remember from the first show I did there? That's where I met Brandon.
Yeah,
that's where I
came up
met
with his
Brandon
son.
for the first time. Brandon and his kid, very good-looking kid. I mean, Brandon. I don't think I've never met Brandon's wife, but she must be an attractive woman because the kid is much better looking than the old man. I mean, I'm just going to say that right out loud here. That Brandon's kid is better looking.
He rocks a
than,
pretty sweet mullet, I'll tell you that.
He did rock the mullet then. I don't know if he's still got the mullet.
I think he was doing the baseball mullet thing.
He had the baseball mullet going on. I don't know if he's got the mullet anymore, but the kid is better looking than Brandon. I just want to say that. And for whatever reason, he was able to get the day off, and he came over. Now, there's a possibility. It's a slight possibility, but it's a possibility that there'll be a sighting of the old dog at the restaurant.
Uh-oh.
That's not me.
That'd be cool.
That's not me. It's the old dog. There's a possibility that the old dog and they're coming up. They're driving up. They're taking the 3-day drive to come up from Florida. They're 83 years old. He's like, I'm going to drive 4 hours a day. So he's going to come up. He always says to me, he says the same thing to me every time he drives up. He used to drive up a lot, but now he's 83. So he always says to me, should I come up through Atlanta or should I go through Birmingham? He always says that because I actually like to go, when I go back and forth to Fort Myers, and when I've gone back and forth, and the first time I ever came to the Tennessee Valley from Fort Myers is I came up through Tallahassee. You get the other side of Tallahassee. You go north on, I think it's 39 or something like that. You go through Dothan, through Montgomery, and then you come up. You're basically going right up the gut through the entire state of Alabama. And that was the first time I ever made the run. And that's when I fell in love with the state of Alabama. And that's when I fell in love with the Tennessee Valley. But I was going to Huntsville at that time. Now, when you go to Winchester, Tennessee, Winchester, Tennessee is east of Huntsville. And really the better way to go is to gut Georgia, go right through Atlanta on 75. Do not get on 275. Do not go on that, God forbidden, beltway around Atlanta. That traffic's worse on that thing than it is on taking 75 right through down Chester that way. That's really the better way to come for the most part. However, he's 83, and I'm concerned a little bit, going through Atlanta. There's that's a tough drive through Atlanta. So he said the last thing he said to me was, "We will get," and they leave early in the morning, like Grizz early. Grizz was in the office at 5 this morning. That's like my old man. That's what he does. My old man's up at like 3:30 every morning. Goes to bed at 8 o'clock at night, and he's
I'm
up
like
at
my grandfather, man.
Yeah, he's up at 3:30 in the morning. Now I wake up with the daylight. I'll be honest with you. I'm waking up at 5 myself now on a regular basis. But sometimes it's a little in the wintertime. It's harder for me to get up because it's dark till like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And I can't get up. I just can't get up. I roll over to the Junkyard Babe, and she's so nice and warm, and I just don't even want to get up. But this time of year, I get up pretty early. So anyway, he'll be on the road by 5:30 on Thursday. We'll see how far he goes. And, it's only about a 10 or 11 hour drive total. So we'll see how far he gets on that day. And then he said, I told him, don't get to my house too early because I won't be back to my place until 1:30. Why? Because I'm doing a remote at Bubby's where I'll be eating a waffle with egg over hard and bacon gravy on it with, sugar-free syrup. So I told him, I said, I'll be there. He said, oh, maybe I'll come to your remote, is what he said. Now, he says, the thing is, he's Eastern time, and it always screws him up. So, I told him, I said, the remote starts at 11 o'clock Eastern. So he might have a shot. There might be an old dog sighting. But we'll see if that works out. Stephen A. Smith got loose this morning. They were discussing the concept of a level playing field and the fact that, Nick Saban, of all people, was talking about there being parity. Now, when he talks about parity, he means everybody's playing by the same rules. not parity in the way things work out.
Let me finish. That it's leveling the playing field for these other programs.
Molly, here's the problem with what you're saying.
What?
The man was just in the national title game.
Yeah.
He's got 7 rings.
Yeah.
It's not like he was outside of the playoffs looking in. And I'm here to tell you something right now. If Jamison Williams and those boys hadn't gotten hurt, all right, they would have won the national championship. I think they would have beat Georgia. So let's not talk like Nick Saban is like, oh my God, I'm sitting here ultra concerned about everyone else catching up to me. Excuse me, this is Alabama.
Yeah. Tell them.
This is Alabama.
This is Alabama. We're going to hear that before Coach Bryant at the stadium, you know what I mean, at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
This is Alabama.
There you go.
Roll Tide, brother.
That's right, baby. You tell them, Wolverine Dan. Now, what was the other question that was on the table, Grizz? They asked. Now, that voice in the background is not my friend Chris Russo. That sounds like that wasn't Russo.
No, he was. He was
on later.
No, he was on. He was just. Yeah, no, he was the other. I mean, he's on the other side. He was there today.
Is he? Yeah, but he's not that voice that's. Hang on, let's listen.
Those boys hadn't gotten hurt, all right? They would have won the national championship. I think they would have beat Georgia. So let's not.
Is that Russo?
They had him. I think they had him and somebody else.
Yeah, they must have had somebody else because that's not Russo saying absolutely.
Yeah, but he was sitting there when it was live. I can't remember right when it started.
So they asked Russo.
Yeah.
What was the question? The 5 greatest
storied franchises.
Let me just say this off the top.
Yeah.
Russo is a 100% pro sports guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't know anything about college sports, doesn't care. He acts like he cares about college basketball and the tournament and college football. He really doesn't. When you say franchises to Russo means pro.
Right.
So what did he say?
All right, number 5, he had the Montreal Canadiens.
Okay. 24 Stanley Cups.
Right.
Yeah.
He had number 4, the Boston Celtics.
Boston Celtics, 17
championships.
I think 17 is the number for the Celtics. Okay.
Steelers at number 3.
That's too
right
high
off
for
the steel
Steelers.
curtain and the success.
Six Super Bowl wins, but they didn't even make the playoffs until the mid or early 70s. They were terrible for 40 years. Okay, go ahead.
Number 2, the Packers.
Okay.
Rattled off, the first 2 and all that. And then number 1, your Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees, of course. So the Yankees, the Packers, the Steelers, the Celtics. Did Stephen A. make a case for the Lakers? Because I would almost say the Lakers over the Steelers.
Yeah, he did. He said if you were going to put the Celtics on there, you at least have to put the Lakers on there.
Yeah, I think the Lakers have to. If you're going to put the Celtics in there, they both have. I'm making this up in my head right now. I think the Lakers have 18 and the Celtics have 17. Double check me on that. Fact check me on that when we come back. I think it's 18 and 17, something like that on the championships there. But that's a pretty strong list. And Stephen A. said something about putting Alabama on there, but you can't. We're talking about pros. I don't think you can mix the pros and the college because if you say Alabama, then you got to say Kentucky basketball. You know what I mean? Now you're opening up a whole new.
I think it had to do with like storied franchises that are also dynasties as well. Because all these franchises are clearly dynasties.
I think the Steelers don't belong on that list. All right, the Browns have more championships than the Steelers. I'm just going to tell you that right now. The Browns have more championships between the Lakers and the Celtics on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actual 755-1556 or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyota-thon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and the Lackey Law Firm will take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
All the press conferences.
It's our mental energy, I would say. Spend less time complaining about, when I was going to get an opportunity. Just spend more time training and working towards.
Plus, all of the rat poison is served up right here.
It's yummy.
On 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Brought to you by our friends at Woody Anderson Ford. The service department at Woody Anderson Ford is second to none. Make an appointment to have your vehicle serviced at Woody Anderson Ford, whether it's a Ford or not. Wait till you see those service lanes down there. They're incredible. It's incredible. It's like driving into your living room. And they're very knowledgeable. It's not like they just take your car in and they don't know anything. When you're talking to the people in the service lanes, they're extremely knowledgeable right then and there. And they do a great job at Woody Anderson Ford. Now, I'm just going to be honest with you. It's going to be hard not to look at all those F-150s and Mustangs and stuff like that. You're going to say, you know what? Doesn't a big dog drive a F-150? I want one of those. Doesn't Wes Neighbors drive an F-150? I want one of those. In fact, Wes and I have almost matching F-150s. Mine looks sportier than his. He's got the Platinum. Mine is sportier looking. Mine is the one mine looks like a Raptor almost. All right, Wes's is more luxurious than mine, all right? But there are times when I come out of the building and I walk to his F-150. Like if I park next to his, if I didn't have the fender flares, mine's a little beefier. I got to be honest with you. Now, Wes is a little beefier than me, but my F-150 is a little beefier looking than Wes's because I got the fender flares. And the one thing we have in common is that they are both from Woody Anderson Ford. We got that in common.
Nick Saban, probably the greatest coach in the history of college football.
Stephen A. He didn't say that today. He said that in the past.
He's not wrong, though.
No, he's not wrong. He's not wrong about it. Stephen A., Philadelphia born and raised, but big Tide fan.
This is Alabama.
This is Alabama.
He's an Eagles, Giants, Knicks fan, Alabama
Can't be
fan.
an Eagles and a Giants fan.
I know. He covered. Yeah, I know.
He covered them, yeah. But when it comes to college football.
This is Alabama.
That's where he is. All right, coming up next is Chuck Oliver. This is Chuck Oliver. Then Paul Feinbaum. No, Braves baseball. We've got that coming up this afternoon. Right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself,